Our next speaker is someone else whose art and background has shaped his experience. We have Amir Whitaker, attorney with the American Civil Liberties Union. Amir.
Thank you, Councilmember O'Farrell. Good morning, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about the value of arts today, and thank you for all you do for the city of Los Angeles in the area of arts. That's definitely something that brought me back to this city. I want to speak today as a civil rights lawyer and as a freedom fighter, fighting for the rights of youth, but also fighting for freedom of expression. I'm going to talk about the importance of art as a civil right and as a human right, and really understanding it because of its potential to alleviate inequality or actually contribute to inequality if art access. If we don't have art equity in our communities. So I was looking at one of the data sets from the Art Datathon happening next week that looks at art access in schools across LA County. And it's inadequate for all students, but when we look at it for students of color, we see some troubling trends. Specifically, when looking at schools that serve mostly white students in LA County, there are about 53. 72% had a music teacher, and I'm a musician. I feel like that is too low for our students. There should be a 100% rate for music teachers. 57% had a visual arts teacher, and only 20% had a dance teacher for at least one day a week. And Congressmember O'Farrell knows the importance of dance. But when we look at it by different groups, for Latino students, schools that serve primarily Latino students, which are most of schools throughout LA County, only 36% had a full-time music teacher. Only 44% had a full-time visual arts teacher, and only 10% had a dance teacher for one day a week. When we look at schools serving black students, where more than half of the population is black, only 41% had a full-time music teacher, only 12% had a full-time visual arts teacher, and none had a dance teacher for at least one day a week. Another troubling trend with the schools serving primarily black students here in Los Angeles County. There are only 21 schools, but 3 of those schools' sites are actually the juvenile camps or prisons. So black youth are 8% of the county, but over half of some of the juvenile probation centers, and they're some of the areas where art access is an issue. So I'm part of the education equity team at the ACLU, and we recently entered a settlement with the Los Angeles Unified District to provide $150 million for the highest need schools, 50 of the highest need schools, $3 million each. And this allows for additional arts. Thank you. Thank you. Big shout out to my colleagues for that work. And this allows for each 50 of the highest need schools to get $3 million of additional funds that allow for arts through the A through G requirements, through social emotional supports, but this isn't enough. Neither is the $31 million that LAUSD allocates for arts a year, especially since it spends literally more than twice as much on school police, over $60 million a year than art. Also, the district has a policy, the random search policy, that confiscates art supplies for students in the name of safety, although the policy isn't yet to uncover any guns or anything. And 46% of LAUSD schools do not have a visual arts program. So art supplies should not be confiscated, in my opinion. So personally, I depend on the arts for wellness and rejuvenation. The arts saved my life. I credit it with saving my life. I got into a lot of trouble, was arrested as a youth, kicked out of school, and being a musician and having a positive outlet for my time helped bring me back the right way. And that's why I started a nonprofit called Project Knucklehead, where we do arts and music throughout the country. I purchased my first guitar with crack cocaine, but we provided over 40 instruments to youth so they don't have to do the same. But I'm also the board chair of Arts for Incarcerated Youth Network, a group of an umbrella organization. Thank you. And we have some of our members here, the Arts for Incarcerated Youth Network, umbrella organization of over 11 organizations serving 650 incarcerated youth throughout LA County, employing upwards of 30 teaching artists, and I have to give them a shout out. We have the Actors Game, the Armory Center for the Arts, Boyle Heights Arts Conservatory, Dance for Healing, Gay Men's Chorus of LA, Jail Guitar Doors, Rhythm Arts Alliance, Street Poets, and Unusual Suspects, and Right Girls, Bold Ink Writers, because these are all freedom fighters fighting for freedom of expression for youth who are incarcerated in Capitol. And I want to end with a few questions or statements that get us to question, art access and the impact of art. So if art creates hope, then all youth should be allowed to dream. If art provides a voice, then all youth from communities that are most silent should have that voice. If art creates beauty, share it with the youth often told they're not pretty. If art supports healing, health, and well-being, then allow our youth to overcome their pain and trauma. If art is liberation, then free the youth in the largest juvenile justice system in the nation. If art reduces recidivism, then give the youth paint and poetry instead of probation. If art helps us overcome our struggles, then give it to the youth who are struggling. If art connects us to the world, give it to the communities who are disconnected. Art inspires their imagination, so share it with those depending on creativity for survival. Art supports academic achievement, so art access gaps exacerbate the achievement gap. Art provides opportunities in the workforce, so art gaps contribute to unemployment inequalities that contribute to wealth gaps, homelessness gaps, incarceration gaps, right? And I'm a proud member of Council District 14, but I'm not proud of the fact that, although Councilmember Huszar is doing stuff to address the large homelessness population, and the fact that we house one of the largest jail systems in the world and in the country. So art is a way to reduce recidivism, reduce the number of people we have to incarcerate, increase the number of people who graduate, and to end on a note of positivity and gratitude, again, I thank you all for what you do for the arts community of Los Angeles, and keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thanks, Amir.